Hello ladies and gentlemen, Safehouse here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the different races in ArcheAge along with their racial bonuses. The race of your character does not actually have a huge impact on your character, especially the combat and that kind of stuff. It's more of a utility and determines whether you're in the Eastern or Western faction. Eastern known as Harani and Western known as Nuian. There is a faction lock, so if you're playing with friends or you're playing in a guild or something, make sure you do pick the race that is in the correct faction so you can communicate and do stuff with them. Firrans and the Harani are from the east, while Elves and Nuians are from the west. So let's jump into these racial abilities, and I will discuss their impact on your character and which race I personally prefer, although it does really depend on your playstyle which one's going to suit you the most. So firstly we have Nuians, who have Nui's Blessing and Warrior Architects. So Nui's Blessing says, favoured by the goddess of hereafter, Nuians receive extra benefits from visiting her realm, doubling the time their stats are increased after being resurrected. So once you die, you come up with a buff called Nui's Blessing. This buff increases your stats by 10% for 10 minutes. So when you are a Nuian and you die, you're going to come back to life and you're going to have that buff for 20 minutes rather than 10. And Warrior Architects. Frequent rebellions and civil wars have led the Nuians to become quick builders, reducing construction time of houses and castles by 30%. So that's not a hugely useful one. It's going to save you some time here and there, but you don't really build a lot of houses. I guess once you do get to the castle building side of things, which is a bit later on in the game, it may help a fair bit, but it's not a huge issue. And I'll just show you the female one there too. So next up we have the Elf. These are both the Western factions, the Nuian and the Elf. So Elves have endurance training and what looks like a shark, the lithe flow or lift flow. Trained for combat from the day they can walk, Elves possess increased physical ability. This stamina allows them to hold their breath underwater for an extra 20 seconds, so that's pretty straightforward. In late game you'll notice you do spend a lot of time out on the ocean, so having that extra 20 seconds actually does really help. The decades spent around Gwynedd Lake make most Elves talented swimmers, increasing their swimming speed plus 5%. So 5% isn't a huge amount, but it really just does help out because you do spend a lot of time in the water in this game. I know I do, and personally Elves are actually my favourite race and is what I am playing, so that's the male one there too. So the Firran, they have cat-like reflexes and strong claws. So cat-like reflexes, the Firran's quick reflexes allow them to twist their bodies as they fall and land more nimbly, decreasing fall damage by 20%. So you will notice in ArcheAge that you do fall a lot, especially when you're dropping from your glider and that kind of stuff. So taking a bit of reduced fall damage is always a good thing, but not a huge impact. And strong claws, the Firran's long, non-retractable claw allow them to climb trees and ladders 30% faster. So there's not a lot of tree climbing in ArcheAge, there's not a lot of ladder climbing either, so that's another thing that's not going to be huge. It's going to save you a little bit more time every now and then, but just not a huge impact. And finally the Harani, who have Portal Mastery and Jungle Tamers. So Portal Mastery. The far-flung Harani Empire has forced its people to master the use of portals for quick travel, reducing the cast time and cooldown on their recall ability by 30%. So it is usually 30 minutes, so you're obviously going to cut that down by a fair bit. So it's going to be a bit over 20 minutes. So then again, that's something that can come in handy if you are teleporting back to your home place quite a lot. But the 8 minutes isn't going to be like a huge difference there. And we also have Jungle Tamers. Settling the jungles of Mahadevi, I believe it is, taught the Harani to be efficient in their labour, reducing the time required for logging trees and gathering herbs by 10%. So that's actually a pretty damn good one too, guys. So if you are really looking to be a farmer and, just chop a lot of trees, gather a lot of herbs, then this class might be the one for you if you're heading to the Eastern faction. Just really do be careful about that because you don't want to be leveling up a character and being in the wrong faction. There is word around that the Dwarves and the Warborn will be coming out in the near future, the Dwarves being on the Nuian side and the Warborn being on the Harani side, obviously. But thank you very much for watching. I hope this helped you make a decision on which race you wanted to play in ArcheAge and maybe which faction you wanted to go to. There is plenty of lore out there too. If you want to read in the wiki, there will be a link in the description if you want to check that out too. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope to see you next time.